pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. James Adams. Thank you, Mr. Quibido.
Mr. President, may I ask the board to add an item to the agenda? I'd like to add an item. I guess it would be under the action item for your information only. It's this new program, Let's Let Teachers Teach, that they came out with, and I'd like to bring it up and talk about it a little bit. And I'd like to make that motion.
Second. Got to be unanimous on the board. Roll call vote, please.
Who made the second, please?
Mr. Jones?
Representative Davis?
Yes.
Quibido?
Yes.
Joe Abear?
Yes.
Becky Atkinson?
Yes.
Steve Jones?
Yes.
James Copeland?
Yeah.
Milton Seymour?
Yes. Thank you.
It'll be item 2.6. 2.6.
Okay.
Okay? All right, item 2.1, approve the minutes of the May 7th, 2024 regular session meeting, the minutes of the special session meeting on May 15th, May 21st, and May 28th, 2024, and the minutes of the Budget and Finance Committee and Personnel, Insurance, and Curriculum Committee dated May 21, 2024.
There's no changes. I make a motion that we approve the said minutes.
I have a motion by Mr. Higginbotham.
I'll second it.
Second by Mrs. Atkinson. Any questions or comments from the audience? Questions or comments from the board? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carried. Item 2.2, consider approval of out-of-state travel request for Midland High School girls basketball team to attend basketball camp in Summit, Mississippi on June 24th, 2024.
Also move.
Have a motion by Mr. Jones.
Second.
Second by Mr. Seymour. Any questions or comments from the audience? Questions or comments from the board? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carried. Item 2.3, consider approval of bid received for 2024-2025 official journal, excuse me.
I make a motion, we approve the bid for the official journal.
Have a motion by Mr. Higginbotham.
Second.
Second by Mr. Quibido. Any questions or comments from the audience? Questions or comments from the board? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carried. Item 2.4, consider approval of updated property statement of values. You got just a brief thing, Justin?
Real quick, it's an increase from last year of $25,785,730 in property. Total property value for the parish school board is right at $249,785,543. Just in property, we were required to lift some of the limits by property carrier because of square footage value. So they asked property carrier of the insurance. We should have something in the special meeting on the property insurance.
So we'll increase the value, we
Yeah.
increase the price.
Well, no, because it doesn't really, because the parish is only insured up to $30 million.
Okay.
Everything else would be FEMA related. So it really doesn't matter where the property values are rated. It's really just, a formality.
I got you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Justin.
Justin.
I got a motion by Mr. Higginbotham,
Second.
second by Mr. Jones. Any questions or comments from the audience? Questions or comments from the board? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carried. Item 2.5, consider approval of fiscal year 2024-2025 salary books and authorize the superintendent to update by any legislative action taken from the legislative session ending June 2024. Mrs. Tall?
Just a couple of notes to reflect on the salary book.
some changes. The changes reflect the $1 per hour pay raise for secretary and paraprofessionals. You'll also notice on the page where it references the 24-25 salary supplements, that reflects the ESSER supplement of 2,500 for teachers and 1,500 for paras being removed since that funding source is ending as of June 30th. As well, on that same page, page 2, you will see, because of ESSER funding, our stipend amounts were at $40 an hour for teachers and $25 an hour for paras. So that adjustment has been made for professional development and tutoring purposes to the dollar amounts that you see reflected. So for professional development purposes, that's $20 per hour. If they're presenting for a workshop and are doing any tutoring for teachers, that's $30 an hour. And for paras working after hours for tutoring, that's $20 per hour. So those changes are reflected in this salary book.
Okay.
I make a motion, we consider the approval of the fiscal year salary 2024, 2025 salary books, authorize the superintendent to update any legislative action taken from the legislative session ending June 2024.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Higginbottom, second by Ms. James Adams. Any questions or comments from the audience? Questions or comments from the board? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carried. 2.6, Mr. Seymour?
Okay, this has come from State Superintendent Cade Brumley. In an effort to, and I'm gonna highlight some of these recommendations. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. You can pull them up and look at them. In an effort to support the teaching profession, the Let Teachers Teach work group has launched earlier this year, comprised of over 2,000 educators. The work group explored complications within the profession and considered potential recommendations. These recommendations should be taken seriously and will require efforts from the various levels. Louisiana State Superintendent of Education Cade Brummer Let Teachers Teach work group released recommendations viewed as critical to supporting classroom teachers. Composed of over 24 educators, the Let Teachers Teach work group was tasked with identifying common classroom disruptions and unnecessary bureaucracies, as well as formulating practical solutions to helping educators focus on the most important aspect of their job, teaching students. Governor Jeff Landry and Dr. Brumley and the Teacher of the Year, Kylie Altier, has joined in this recommendations. My primary goal in creating this work group was to improve the professional experience of classroom teachers, said Dr. Brumley. I feel confident these recommendations will support teachers while maintaining focus on the students they serve. I will not sit back and allow teachers to struggle with these challenges, said Brumley. Whatever is burdensome or unnecessary training or disruptive student behavior we must have the back of the teachers so they are empowered to succeed in every single day. And it goes on, professional learning, rather than generic or irrelevant professional growth plan viewed as paperwork and disconnected from the evaluation process, a teacher's professional growth plan should be tailored to the individual needs as identified by the refinement area assigned during the teacher's formal observation. Teachers should receive support and resources from school leaders to improve in the identified areas of professional growth. Also, they should be allowed to meet with colleagues in planning their upcoming instruction. for their students. Professional learning days on school calendars at the beginning of the school year are full of meetings, often leaving little time for teachers to actually prepare their classroom. School systems should consider providing uninterrupted time for teachers to work in their classroom prior to the first day when the students come. Training. It should be revised of the frequency of these workshops and the duration of the training. We need to save teachers from the previous training session in the same topics. So many times, teachers that tell me, I don't know why I had to go to that workshop. We already teaching that in school, and I had to sit the whole morning out of my classroom for that. We need to stop all that stuff. Student behavior. We need to remove suspension rates as criteria for the school system accountability. Students who are excessively disruptive to the learning environment should be removed from the classroom. And this ungovernable student should be placed in alternative school where he'll maintain his education, but out of the classroom. Keeping habitually tardy and absent students on track is overwhelming for our teachers. When you're talking about makeup work, we're talking about makeup tests. They have to grade these tests outside of their regular time. That's presenting problems for our teachers. We need to address it. But once we do our job, Dr. Brumley said we must engage the district attorney, juvenile judges, and safety net organizations to assist us in making this work. Cell phones. He will encourage devices to be shut off and put away throughout the instructional day. Non-academic responsibilities. Pay for teachers in non-academic work. We all know that teachers plan, communicate with families, and grade papers beyond the workday, and that is a normal activity. But the non-academic assignments, such as extracurricular events, while teachers should be compensated for, that's collecting at the doors, working the tournaments, and collecting at football games, whatever. If teachers do this, they should be compensated, he feels. Curriculum instruction practices have been erroneously adopted, which mandate teachers to follow scripts. And Ms. Tall knows that I'll voice my opposition to that. When you go and observe a teacher, it's a script, and he's trying to do away with that. Planning and implementation should not be mandated at the system of school level. Let the teachers teach. Planning, effective teachers should have professional autonomy in their classroom. They need to do what they need to do to reach the students. Materials to meet individualized needs of their students. And I've said this many times, these teachers that go to college, they get trained to teach, and we handcuff them when they get in the classroom. If that teacher don't know what's gonna help that student, we have a serious problem in that classroom, but I think they do. Lesson planning. Process what's best fits the teacher's preferred method of planning. Do away with templates, that the teachers have to do lesson plans according to a template. Let them write what they need to do in that classroom. And there's a lot more, but this is what's coming down from Dr. Bromley with the support of the governor and the Teacher of the Year and over 24 parish-wide, statewide people that came up with these things. And I think, you know, we're talking about shaking the tree, shaking it up. Let's move forward. I think, Ms. Tall, this thing would be right down your alley, it's helping you do that, because
Well,
that's
we
the thing
actually,
we need to do.
we had a principals meeting this morning, wrapping up the
Right.
end of the year.
Yeah.
And actually, this was one of the documents that we went through with our school
So-
administrators, covering what the recommendations were from the Department of Education and the workforce group that that came out with these recommendations. So we did share this information with all of the school leaders today to let them know that moving forward, as we're transitioning, that we will be focusing on some of these areas to alleviate any of those barriers that we can do that are not legislatively mandated
Right.
or unnecessary things that we might can shift away from teachers, that we will base those decisions moving forward, making some adjustments to what we currently do at the school level based on these recommendations.
Now, principals will, when they see fit, involve teachers?
Yes.
In all this new stuff?
Yes, we'll have a plan moving forward to address what these recommendations are.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
How much is coming down, excuse me? How much is coming down right now from the state? From what I understand, it's not much different.
Currently, in the legislative session, there are over 200 bills that have an impact on education currently. We have Act 260, which is a mandate for all grades 4 through 8 teachers to have to go through numeracy training, very much like we had to do with our K-3 teachers for literacy. So there are still some legislative mandates that we're obligated to adhere to. So we are making plans to make that as easy on teachers as possible, but yet still adhere to those mandates. So session ends Friday, June 7th. We're waiting to see what sticks through this session, and then we will plan accordingly from there.
Good, thank you.
And,
I have a question.
Typical,
go ahead.
typical state stuff, you know, mandating this and that, and everything is unfunded, probably, again. Just like what we talked about, the teachers that gotta stay after school and for a ball game or something. That's gonna mean that we have to pay, and we already can't pay our people. I don't see how we're gonna be able to pay them more with the state mandates, all of these mandates, but everything is unfunded. How fair is that to a district?
Mr. Glenn?
No, I was just curious, well, what is the status of the, we had talked about those phone pouches, and I thought one of the schools in Church Point
We
was
have
gonna be a
one
pilot school.
That's wanting to pilot it, but we're also, we just received our metal detectors in the district, so we'll be rolling out training with our school administrators for the metal detectors to be implemented as well. So we're working with that particular school on how that's gonna look.
So we
moving
just
forward.
gonna go with that one school for right now with the
That was the only
pouches?
school that
And
was
how
interested in-
long are we gonna, how long is that program gonna last before we would,
You purchase the pouches and they're purchased.
yeah, that was my understanding, but for the rest of the schools, were we gonna give it a year?
We're gonna pilot
Next
for a
year.
year and see how it
For
works.
1 year.
In conjunction with those schools that are gonna heavily use the metal detectors.
Very
I'm
good.
gonna do it like the 4-day work week, huh? Wait 20 years to.
No. And we have to, you have to have policies in place for that school to implement. So we're in the process of reviewing what those policies would be, in particular with the pouch, as far as any discipline infractions, et cetera, just from not adhering to the cell phone.
Is that one gonna start in August?
That's our hope, August or September,
What school is doing that?
Church Point Middle.
Church Point Middle.
Another thing, Ms. Tall, one more thing. We talked about mandates and legislative stuff coming down from Baton Rouge. I would like to see you and your staff take these things apart before they go into the school. You know, instead of having a workshop, said, okay, you'll no longer do this in your classroom, you're gonna have to start doing it. And a lot of that stuff can be, we can pick and choose what we do and still let teachers teach.
Right, we
and
will.
the way they want to. Because so many times we get these programs coming down and they end up on the shelf. You know, we've been there. And I'd like us to pick and choose and not burden the teachers with things that's really not gonna affect the outcome of the students.
Moving forward, that is some of our intent.
Thank you.
You mentioned these professional development days. We just had a conversation, me and Ms. Tall, last week. And, you know, I'm the same, I'm just like you mentioned, but I'm tired of teachers saying, I don't know why I went to that, because it wasn't no good. If we find something that works, we need to stick to that. But I told her I'd like to see more collaboration with our teachers from school to school.
Yes.
So maybe all the Ward 5 third grade teachers can get together. Maybe all the Crowley third grade teachers can get together, Church Point, Iota, so forth. But to me, that would be a better tool than us just going and watch somebody talk in front of a,
I agree. And even within the
Or-
school.
that's correct.
That
I mean-
third and fourth graders.
absolutely.
teachers
If
get
we could do it
together.
parish-wide would be better, but I know that's a challenge.
All
But
these things.
Absolutely.
Help with
Yeah.
the students.
yeah, and I think our teachers could help each other.
Yes.
You know, because some of them have strengths and some have weaknesses, and they could share some of that and try to help each other as well.
So
So,
we need that in the classroom. Thank you.
thank you. Item 3.1, consider the recommendation of the Budget and Finance Committee regarding expenditures for the 2024-2025 budget.
With the motion by Delo Abear, second by Mr. Jones, carried, the committee recommends the 2024-2025 budget expenditures be approved by the full board, and I so move.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Higginbottom, second by Mr. Jones. Any questions or comments from the audience? Questions or comments from the board? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carried. Item 3.2, consider recommendation of the Budget and Finance Committee regarding approval to purchase 6 regular route buses and 2 sped lift buses.
With the motion by Mr. Jones and second by Mr. Abear, and carried, the committee recommends to the full board the purchase of 6 regular school buses and 2 sped buses with lift, and I so move.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Higginbottom, second by Mr. Jones. Any questions or comments from the audience?
What, I'm sorry.
Questions or comments from the board?
What had we talked about when you had asked about maybe 1 year cutting back or something?
It would bring it back to
Yeah.
What would,
Justin said you'd just be kicking the
the
can down the
kicking the can
road.
down the road.
He said you'd just be kicking the can down the road,
Oh, okay.
eventually what it amounts to.
Right.
We'd have to pay
we'd have
later
to
on.
double up or
Right.
whatever? Okay.
Yeah, we trying not to exceed, we have 80 route buses, so we're trying to not exceed having a bus that's over 10 years old in the fleet.
Okay.
And this is not till next year anyway,
This
right?
is next year's 24-25 budget, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carried. Item 3.3, consider recommendation of the Budget and Finance Committee regarding approval of bids received for child nutrition, canned frozen foods, frozen chilled meats, and milk and dairy products and juice.
A motion by Mr. Abear, a second by Mr. Jones, sends these child nutrition bids to the full board, and I approve. I so move.
I have a motion by Mr. Higginbottom, second by Mr. Quibido. Any questions or comments from the audience? Questions or comments from the board? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carried. Consider recommendation of the Personnel and Insurance and Curriculum Committee regarding approval of Head Start supplemental funding application, COLA 2024-2025.
A motion by Becky Atkinson, second by Milton Seymour, and carried. Sending the Head Start Supplemental Fund Application COLA 2024-2025 to the full board for approval. I so move.
I have a motion
Second.
by Mr. James Adder, second by Mrs. Atkinson. Any questions or comments from the audience? Questions or comments from the board? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carried. Item 3.5, consider the recommendation of the Personnel, Insurance, and Curriculum Committee regarding renewal of crime coverage insurance.
A motion by Milton Seymour, second by Becky Atkinson, and carried. Sending renewal of crime coverage insurance to the full board for approval.
I have a motion by Mrs. Atkinson,
Second.
second by Mr. Seymour. Any questions or comments from the audience? Questions or comments from the board? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carried. Item 3.6, consider recommendation of the Personnel, Insurance, and Curriculum Committee regarding approval to renew cyber insurance.
Motion by Becky Atkinson, second by Ike Richard, sends renewal of cyber insurance to the full board for approval.
I have a motion by Mrs. Atkinson, second by Mr. Seymour. Any questions or comments from the audience? Questions or comments from the board? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carried. Consent items, 4.1, receive assignments and changes of personnel. You have that on your computers. And receive sales tax report. Justin, we looking average, good, better, worse?
1 month left to go, and we up 1.46%.
Up 1 point, okay. Better than down 1.4. Okay, item 5.1,
Move adjourned.
I have a motion by Mr. Seymour. Second by Mr. Jones. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carried. Thank all of you for being here at the meeting tonight. We appreciate y'all coming out tonight. Thank y'all.
Before the board leaves, I just would like to let you know that Elise Boutin, our Teacher of the Year for Rain High School, has made it to the final round for State Teacher of the Year. So that has been quite some time since we've had a teacher that has made it that
That far?
far with the state. So she is going for her interview in another week or so. So please send her some good thoughts, and fingers crossed that she'll become the final high school Teacher of the Year.
Very good,
Very proud of her.
Absolutely.
very good.
Y'all have a good week.
Oh, Shelby Fusilier is also being recognized by the State American Legion for being the state representative, Teacher of the Year with them.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, she'll be recognized at their state convention.
Awesome.
Go rain.
That's right. Go Wolves.
Go Brent.